Hi, everyone. Welcome to my live chat. Oh, hello, Elena. I hope I pronounced that right. I was hoping to change the orientation sideways, but when I did, um, yeah, YouTube was like, no, orientation has already been set. So now it's going to be like that narrow view, which I'm not like 100% in love with because I cannot get as much in as I like. But it is what it is. Okay, so while we wait for other people to come into the live, I wanted to uh, showcase that little cutie right there. That is Emmy, and that is a little baby that I currently have on sale. Emmy with albinism. So she is currently in my nursery at Pepper's Reborn Boutique. I need to get a card out so that I can show people how to get there. Uh, okay. So Pepper's Reborn Boutique. I think this is this it? Yeah. There we go. That's my email, but I'm at reborns.com. So you can find me there. Okay, great. So today we are going to be painting Little Junie Rose. So this is Junie Rose by Marita Winter. And I actually fell in love with this kit when I went to the a doll show back in 2024. And I saw her and she just had the cutest little face. So, yeah. And then I painted her as a baby also with albinism. And she turned out to be a little fairy. And I actually was like, you know what? I'm keeping her. I'm not putting her up for sale. So I kept her in my private collection. But this is what she looks like. I may have to do some adjusting to the camera. So everything is, and actually, I need to get more light in here. Let me turn on another light. Hi, Brian. That is not a real baby, but I want her to look like a real baby. That one right there. So we call that hyper realistic. She's a hyper realistic art doll, and she is made of silicone, so she's very movable. Here, I'll show you guys. So she has armatures that allows her hands, her arms to move, and she's just so cute. She's so cute. And this is a part of the Reborn dolls, where we paint and create hyper realistic dolls. Okay, so here is Junie Rose, and we're going to be painting her today. And I didn't tell anybody how I wanted her painted, but I decided that I wanted to make her a baby with vitiligo. Vitiligo being a baby that is has spots or patches of skin that is, some is pale and some is brown or darker. So we're going to be starting with the pale portion of the skin. So we're going to jump in because, you know, that's what we're here for. Now, the first thing is we need to look at the paints. I am going to be using Ultimate Fusion for the most part. I'm going to lower the camera down so we can see the paints. There we go. Sorry. It's a lot of paint in here and a lot of other stuff that helps me to paint. Okay, so I am going to be using this Flesh 08 by Ultimate Fusion. It is kind of a pinkier tone. Not to say that that is what she's going to turn out to be on her pale skin is not going to necessarily be pink. This is a nice baby pink, but it's a very flesh color too. It's hard to really see the colors, but they have to be shaken. So we're going to take that one out. We're also going to use this flesh base. This is the base color of all of Ultimate Fusion's tints. Okay, so this is like an untinted base coat. All right, so I think that is all that we're going to need, but I kind of like this color. This is to add a little bit of dimension. So you kind of need a red, some type of crimson red, something like that, to add a flesh coat. This is some old paint that I used from another project. And you can save these sometimes. Here is raw umber, which I will eventually have to use when I do her brown colors. And I don't know which one I want to use. Hi, Daniel. I could either go with this. We'll test it out. So when I actually start adding more, I guess, flesh to her pale color, we'll see. We'll see which one. Okay, now one thing that, oh, thank you, Daniel. One thing that you guys need to know is a lot of times on YouTube, when you see the artists doing paintings, what you're seeing is them using a Genesis or a heat set. We are going to be doing something a lot different. We're going to be using, oh, hey, Foster Mom, nice to see you. What did I do with Jenny? This is Junie Rose, y'all. I'm going to show you again. Actually, I should probably keep this up somewhere. This is the Junie Rose kit by Marita Winter. I love this kit. This is new. This is, to me, a fairly new kit. So she's so tiny and dainty, y'all. Look at her. I love her features. I'm sorry that there are shadows here. I don't use ring lights. I need to start doing that. One day I'm going to start using ring lights. Okay. When you do a heat set paint, or not heat set, but when you use air dry paint, you have to use distilled water. I don't know how people do it with when they're not, like if it's just Genesis, what type of thinners that they use. But we use a distilled water, not filtered, not purified, not boiled. It has to be distilled because particles will attach like to the minerals. So you want to make sure that that doesn't happen. Also, we pounce. So I'm going to be using like this brush, and pouncing just means that I'm going to be hitting the paint on and off. Also, now I don't know about other people, but I use a heavy matte gel. This is just, these paints are just acrylic paints. So this is the acrylic paint base. And then I think I need a stir stick. So that's one thing I did not grab is some stir sticks. And then we need just some water. This is just filtered water right here to clean my brushes. You might need something like this. This is a cosmetic wedge. Oh, y'all use that too? Y'all use this? So Foster Mom said that they use the distilled water too for the heat set. And then of course I need my pipette so that I can dilute. This thing is filled up, super full. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna, you know what? I meant to get a different paintbrush. We might use this paintbrush. I don't know. I'm gonna grab different paintbrush, I think. So I am currently working in my office, which is so wonderful because I used to work in my dining room. And when I worked in my dining room, I had to leave the whole office area whenever I needed to get something. So let's see. Now everything is in the same room. Okay, yeah, I found the perfect brush. There we go. That's the perfect. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Yes, this is the type of content that I love creating. I love making content that is about the babies. I love showcasing them. I love painting them. I'm just wetting off this because, you know, sometimes when they're formed with some type of, and it's like dust or residue. Okay, now this is the part that you very seldom see other artists do. They don't tell you about this gel part because we're talking about a watery substance. These paints are, for the most part, the ones that I use are the liquid paints. So we take one part of this to one part of the tint. I hope you guys can see. I think I'm going to cock this down just a little bit. The reason why is because I want you guys to be able to see. Yeah. So here's the Flesh 08, and then, but here is the baby pink skin. I should have probably re-upped on this, but I think we'll be good. And then, oh, you know what, guys? I'm gonna put some gloves on. The reason being is because if I don't put no gloves on, one of my hands is going to be covered in acrylic paint. So that's what we paint with, is acrylic paint. You don't have to use Ultimate Fusion. You can use golden. I love golden colors. Hi, everybody. Yes, this is going to be a video. That's why, unfortunately, this first part, which is how we begin, is only going to be about an hour. And then I'll have to go in and do other parts because I probably could do very near to a full baby on a complete live because air dry paints dry so well and so fast. They set, I shouldn't say dry. Okay, there we go. I'm making enough so that I can spread it out for the rest of the head and the limbs. So I do got a cap, a lid for this once I make it. Okay, so there. We have that. Now we're going to do a Frankenstein monster creation. You are, Daniel, you are a part of a YouTube video. I don't know that your comments will show, so I'll try to repeat, because sometimes when I look back at YouTube videos, they don't always show the comments. Okay, so here is, now this was a deeper Flesh 08 color. So that was a little bit deeper than the baby. And this is the Flesh base. I don't remember if I shook this up, but we'll shake it up now. This is going to kind of tone down some of the pinks. So my very first job, guys, is to put a primer on the baby. That is what this is. This is going to be a primer coat. and that helps the paint to adhere. Gamsol. Oh, okay, not distilled water. Foster mom said that they use Gamsol, not distilled water. Okay, I don't know what Gamsol is. I would have to relearn. Oh, one thing about these tubes, though, is that they most certainly get clogged up. So we're just going to take a look at, now this one that I just put down is the Berry Ethnic Lips. Now we're going to try the Lips Nail Blush to see which color will look the best on Junie Rose skin, her pale skin tone. So if you're just coming in, we're painting a reborn doll, Junie Rose. Yeah, this one is going to have to pop the cap off too. And Junie Rose is a vinyl kit. And we're painting with mostly Ultimate Fusion, but also we're going to be using some golden colors, and we are using a acrylic matte to kind of thicken it up a little bit. Okay, so here are our two colors. Let's just get a new brush and we'll see which color we like the best. So here is that. And then here's another brush. And you see how it beads up? That's another reason why, ooh, this is too, I think that this is a little bit too purpley. I'm not going to use this color. So let's go ahead and just use this. And again, we're adding some dimension, I would say, to the baby. Dare I call her a baby yet? So we're getting rid of the berry ethnic because that was a little bit too purple for me. Hi, Miss Panda. Ooh, and then we're going to go with the lips, nail, and brush. Or did I say brush? I meant to say blush. Here, you know what? Let's add a little bit of water. I gotta, and look at all of my ethnic skin tones when I start using brown. So I'm just gonna take my little pipette and add a little water to it. I'm gonna shake it up a little bit. And we're just gonna add the barest drop. Now, I don't like starting with the, look at me say, I'm gonna add the barest drop and then I'm gonna pour a whole bunch in there. Let's use a stick. There we go, that's better. We'll use this stick. Okay, so yeah, what I was saying is that I like to start with the limbs. So guys, if you ever want to know how to get a nice flesh tone, you don't have to use brown. You can use, you know, like some type of crimson or red color, and that will get you a nice fleshy tone. I'm gonna get a little bit more. Oops. I do have a little one of these where I can prop stuff up on so I don't make a mess. So I'm not wearing an apron. Okay, here we go. This is getting away from, I think I want a little brown though. I don't think that that's giving me enough brown. Hey, Reborn Twin Mom. How are you? Thank you for joining the live. All right, let's go with, let's see. Now here is a raw umber by Golden. Hey everybody, if I missed somebody, I'm sorry. I'm checking my messages on my computer as I go. And I'm just putting a little drop in here. And we're gonna see. That's really brown. I guess we could go really brown, or we could go, here's some of my brown flesh colors, my ethnic flesh colors. And I'm looking at a Flesh 02, Flesh 03, let's see, Flesh 01, Flesh 02. Let's take a look at Flesh 02. Yeah, this is a part of it, believe it or not. It's like your brain tells you, I love it. That's what we're going to use. We're going to put a drop of Flesh 02 until I can get a tone that I like. I like it. This is a good tone. All right. What do you guys think? Y'all see how that is mixed with that? It should even out pretty well. All right, I'm going to put this to the side. These are the colors that I used in Ultimate Fusion. Thank you, Reborn Twin Mom. Thank you. She says she's loving my content. I appreciate it, man. I have been working so hard on creating videos, especially since I started a membership channel. So I just want to kind of, I don't know, I just want to make it very interesting for people. And I want people to actually see what goes into it. I'm not going to say it's hard, but there can a lot of times be a lot that goes into it. Okay, so now I feel like I want to put some more of this gel. Now, again, this is something that you don't really see a lot of people do. Oh, thank you, Daniel. Daniel says he loves what I do in my videos. A lot of times people don't show that they put this as a thickening agent in there if they don't want it to be too watery. But that's how I was taught. I went back to look at some of my older videos. Not my older videos, but when I learned how to paint, I learned from, I want to use a little bit, another drop of Flesh 02. I learned from like a Dolls by Sandy video. And I can't find those videos anymore. And that's where they would tell you exactly how much to put, how much paint to put, how much matte gel to put. And I haven't seen anywhere where they ever tell you to use a matte gel. So I'm almost doubting myself, but like, how did I know to, how did I know to do this? Okay, so let's start with, let's see, we have been here 25 minutes and I haven't started painting yet. Okay, so this is, like I said, the primer coat. I am covering every bit of the baby with this. Toenails, back of the feet, the palms, the bottom of the feet, and the bottom of the palms of the hands. Because I feel like this is going to help the next layers of paint. And you see, when I use that matte gel, it goes on so nicely. It doesn't beat up as much. Okay, so so far, I did half. Now the pouncing begins. I just use a cosmetic brush and I'm basically using that to spread all around. All right. And you don't want to have so much that it drips. So you can actually, like in my case, I have a lot and I'm just moving it up to the parts where I didn't actually paint. And then we'll do a comparison. I'll show you the limb that wasn't painted. And then we'll see if there's a color difference. A lot of times we'll have a stark color difference, especially when I'm doing ethnic babies with like brown skin. And then sometimes we'll have a very subtle difference. All right. Now, another thing is that you kind of need a brush like this. That way you can get into the wrinkles and make sure that you didn't have anything that's dripping, get in the creases. Okay, so that is one limb. See? It's a subtle difference, but there is a difference. And as it dries, and they dry really fast, you can come back over and paint with different colors. Let's see. I would like to do another live sometime this weekend because this is going to be a long weekend for a lot of people because this is a holiday for a lot of people, a national holiday. So I can't say what day yet. Maybe Sunday. Look, maybe Monday. One of those days, but I will definitely keep a watch on the community tab, and I will announce when I do the second part. And even if we never finish Junie Rose on live, just know that I am going to be showcasing her. So there we go. Let's get some of those bits off. We want to make sure that we don't have too many bits. And then just pounce, pounce, pounce. Oh, good morning, sister. My sister is on the live. Sunflower Baby Angel Dolls. She also has a YouTube channel and she's on TikTok. She is also probably on Instagram too. So yeah, be sure to check her out. I don't know currently if she has any dolls that are for sale. I think that she has like a few because she's been trying to clear out her inventory. Let me grab a clean paper towel here. Now I'm going to take a little bit of this and put it around here because we want to make sure that everything has been primed. Daniel said he's open tomorrow. We will see. Because I wouldn't mind doing tomorrow, but let me double check what my schedule is tomorrow. Okay, so now we have both legs done, and here is an undone limb. We're going to do the hands next. I want to get to Junie's face, but we always save the face for last. At least I do. I save the face for last because I love to see the life or realism emerge through the face. And then, you know, as this begins to get a little dry, I shouldn't say dry, but that's maybe too thick, I can always go back and add more water. So honestly, a lot like Genesis paints, you can save. Like if like right now, currently I have been working on a lot of silicone, and it's not easy to save silicone, especially once you mix the parts A and B together. And the next thing you know, it's set. Ultimate Fusion sets in minutes, but cures in like a week's time. So unfortunately, I won't be able to do the brown part this weekend because I need a couple of days for this pink to set before I add the brown on. But I can start adding and building on her flesh, on her paler flesh. Okay, I want to just make sure that I don't have anything pulled up by the fingertips, because you want to make sure that your brush is not too wet. You can even, like sometimes I have two brushes that I use to pounce. And I do want to thank everybody for joining the live. And yes, this will be a video. This is part one of creating the Junie Rose kit. Here's the COA, and she will be for sale. She is by Marita Winters, and I think she is just one of my favorites. Next time I bring her on, next time I do a live, what I will do is I will bring the one that I painted earlier, and I'll show her. I didn't want anybody to like try to do a comparison because they're not gonna be the same baby. You know, they're not gonna be painted the same style. But yeah, she turned out so cute. I think I will have to bring her on the next time I come on and do a live. Y'all, this is my first live in so long. I mean, I do lives on TikTok every once in a while, but this is my first YouTube live this year, I believe. It goes pretty fast, honestly, especially when you're doing a little baby and you're doing the coat that's a primer coat. Oh, Miss Panda, I am sorry. I missed when you said hi. But hi there. Hi to anybody that I missed. Because I have this tiny little narrow. I'm going to try the orientation change next time I come on live so that I can get more of a wider look. And I just blot my brush when I feel like it's getting too wet. And then we're just going to come in, especially right here. And you can just use any type of fluffy brush. Especially pay attention to the creases where the fingers are joined and the crook of the elbow. Yeah, and just these creases here. Okay, I think that's a lot in her fingers. So I just take another brush, kind of a bigger brush this time. Let's see, try not to get too close where y'all can't see. But yeah, I want to make sure that there's no weirdness looking there. Okay, guys, we did all of the limbs. And now it is time for her face. I always start in the back. Gotta start in the back. I don't know why, but I feel like you got to start in the back, because if you don't start in the back, perhaps there's a mistake. You can like catch it before it hits the face. But again, this is just the primer coat, so there should not be any mistakes. Now you see how thick this is? This is the way I like it to coat the baby. If it beads up, it's not a horrible situation, okay? It's not gonna ruin anything if it beads up. That's what this coat is for, is to help the next coat go on nicely. Then we'll just pounce. And remember that as we pounce, we are also going to be able to spread to the parts that we didn't actually apply paint to. And that'll help keep our brush clean too. No, this is actually Reborn Twin Mom. This is a vinyl doll. Yeah. And one day I will do a live with a silicone doll. It will probably have to be a partial so that I can pick her up. Okay, now I'm getting in her ear. I'm not really touching her face yet. I'm just getting her head. This is so cute. What do you think, guys? I'm just starting to see some life come into her. Okay, now we're going to turn her around. And what's on my brush, I'm going to use, and you'll see me do this technique a lot, where what makes my dolls feel very realistic is that I keep the face bright and I darken around the face. So I always make a highlight in the face. Okay, now I feel like this is too wet. So I'm going to be using my cosmetic wedge to kind of dry it out a little bit. Just a little bit. Another thing about Ultimate Fusion or air dry paints is that you do have to work fast, although you don't see me really working fast because I have enough gel in there that I'm really keeping this baby, hydrated. Let's say hydrated. She's hydrated. All right, so we got the whole baby done. Now this part is pretty important. I just take some of these little applicators and I just want to make sure that we did not leave anything in creases. We didn't leave brown behind the ears. That is one of my biggest mistakes, is always, I think her face is so adorable too. She has just such a beautiful, peaceful face. And I think that she will look so good with African American or brown ethnic skin tone, or in my case, I'm making her with vitiligo. So she will be a brown baby with vitiligo. Okay, now we're going to go back to the very first limb. All right, let's kind of look what we got. See? Oh, and back there, guys, that is Emmy. That is my silicone baby right there. She has, Reborn Twin Mom, you got to go to work soon. This is the, okay, well, this will be turn into a video, but this is the Junie Rose kit by Marita Waters. Yeah, that's okay. I don't mind repeating it because she's beautiful. Okay, so now I feel like this is starting to get thick. We're gonna put that brush aside. So I'm going to transfer some of this into a smaller vessel, and I'm going to put a lid on this so I can save it because I like that. I like that blend, and I made a lot of it. And then we're just going to add a little bit, a few drops of water. There we go. And I always spill this every time. It never fails. Okay. Then let's just kind of clean our brush off. Basically cleaning it off because see how that's why one hand always gets paint on it. This is the hand. But because it dries so easily, so quickly, it's easy to have bits in there. Okay, so we're going to start with the first one we did before, and we're going to go in and put the second. You know, honestly, the second coat actually is supposed to be the coat that has more flesh, more, I don't know if I want to say flesh, but more of what I want her skin tone to look like. So now we're going to add a few drops of this Flesh O2. This is the Ultimate Fusion Flesh O2. And although I want her pale skin that's beneath the darker vitiligo color, even though I still want that to be light, I still want it to have a tone, a human-like tone. Okay, so we just went a little bit deeper in the color. Let's see if I can bring it up a little bit more. And now we're going to focus on just the skin, not the bottoms, not the toenails, just the skin. And we'll put this in the water. And we'll pounce this. Okay. Sometimes I see a little bit of bubbling. And if I see that, I want to knock that out. At this point, I'm not going for texture. I'm just going for a very smooth look. And we'll just go up her leg. We'll use the brush to add, to spread it. Sometimes you'll get a kit that is very orange or very gray, and that's when you can start doing things like neutralizing. But I didn't have a problem with the way her kit looks. It is kind of peachy, but it don't bother me because so much of her skin is going to be brown once I get to it. All right, so here is the before and after. Just that few drops, that extra drop of brown, really kicked that color up. Now we have to just go over everything and make sure we didn't miss anything. The worst thing is when you did it right, you know you did, you put it down, let it set, you come back and there's a drip. And you're like, where did that drip come from? Because it wasn't there before. Okay, so here's the next limb. Again, you don't even have to do the toes because the brush, when I begin to pounce, will spread up. Will spread up toward the toes. And again, we're not doing the bottom because we already got the paint that we need on the bottom until we start really doing detail work. Okay. I absolutely love painting vinyl. But I love the way, look at that flesh color. That is such a beautiful flesh color. I love the way that silicone comes out when you paint it, when it comes out, how it ends up after you paint it. But vinyl is just, that's where my heart is. So I love painting vinyl. So I'm happy to be able to do this live with you guys. Before we started the live, oops, here's a piece of hair. Because I have other dolls in here. Stray hairs will just appear out of nowhere. But before I began painting little Junie Rose, I did wash her. I know some people say they don't wash their vinyl kit, and I don't know how important it is, but that's just the way I was taught. So I did wash her with Dawn dish soap. And I just make sure that if there was anything, any type of agents on there that, like releasing agent, that's like an oil base, that it wouldn't stick on the doll and make me, let's see how quickly it dried, to make it hard for the paint to adhere. So here's the one we just did, and it's already pretty much set. It's another reason why I love Ultimate Fusion. And if you find that when you're using air dry paints that you're having an issue with the air dry paints drying too fast, that's when you would want to get your heavy matte gel. And I'm going to show it to you guys again. I use golden, but you would want to get a heavy, and make sure it's a matte. It's a thick matte acrylic medium. And that will, oops, I'm sorry, I hit the camera. That will allow it to thicken up a little bit, and it will give you a more time to work with it. Okay, so here's where we gotta be a little bit more extra because I'm doing the fingers, but I'm not doing the fingernails. I know y'all hear me swallowing. I have no idea why I swallow so loud when I'm making a video or something like that, and I'll go back and edit, and I'm like, did you just swallow? I'm gonna mute it out. When y'all see the edit, you won't hear me swallow. Hey, welcome back, Daniel. All right, now this has, I think, pounced very well. I may go, let me just put a little bit here. I just want to make sure. And I think the next coat that I would do, it would be time to add texture. And that's where we would want to, I don't want to say make it blotchy, but yeah, that's where you start adding your other colors. And that's where you see people adding their yellows and their mauves. And, you know, I think maybe my next one would be a blue. I don't know that we would have time to do the the blue veining today because we only got like 9 minutes. Maybe on the next one, part two will be where we take Emmy's paler flesh and we will add the dimensions, and we'll add the veining, and we'll add the modeling. That's the word I was looking for. The modeling. Yeah, it is. Also, one of the things, and this is kind of like a trick of the trade that I'm just now learning. There's that last swallow again. But the trick of the trade that I'm just now learning is that you can also use pastels. So that's pastel chalks. And I absolutely use my color wheel all the time, especially when I have a kit that needs to be neutralized. Like I had to neutralize Emmy because I was going for a pretty pale color for this particular Emmy. And so her first coat was a mixture of a blue green, and I only needed one. But Ultimate Fusion does make really nice. I love that they make colors that neutralize already pre-mixed. You don't have to mix it. Okay, so here is her hand with her final coat, I would think, of the flesh. And then the next coats, of course, would be the modeling coats. But here, let me show you what Ultimate Fusion uses as their neutralizing colors. And then I bought it, and then I found that I didn't need theirs. So I don't, most of my babies are brown already. So these are the colors. And then there's an instructional book that tells you when you would need this. So if the, okay, here we go. If the vinyl is too orange, you would use this color. If the vinyl is pink, too pink, then you would use this. And that's not saying that it came that way. Let's say you painted it and you made it too pink. Or you made it too yellow, you would use this lavender. Or you made it, it's a gray vinyl. Oh gosh, the gray vinyls. Use this. So this is from Ultimate Fusion. Okay, now let's do her face or her head. And we're going to use the bigger brush this time. You and Carolyn Dowdy show how to paint that I've seen. Yeah, I know I learned a lot from watching Carolyn. As a matter of fact, before I started painting, she makes you want to paint. She makes you think, I think I can do it. I really feel like I could do this. So yeah, I have to say that she is the mother of a lot of reborn artists. And there's a lot of people that I watch, that I like. Like even now that I already have my own painting style, I love still watching other people because you can still learn, something new. Like I didn't know when I first started painting that people were using pastel chalks to enhance their paint. Not the paint, but the baby. And when I started doing that, I'm like, what? Mind blown. So I hope we do get to a point in the lives where I can show you me doing that. Okay. So, wow. This really looks like the flesh of a baby. All right. Oh yeah, I bought an airbrush, and I've used airbrush before, but I've never used it on a doll. I chickened out, so I was like, uh, do what you know. Just don't fool around. Oh, look at that! I got something dark in there. And when I got to the bottom of the, let me go put her in here. When I got to the bottom of this, I must not have mixed it well. So let's let's use this one. We'll make sure that we don't have any, yeah, we don't want to have any streaks of brown on little Junie Rose. Okay. So now, um, I'm going to do what I talked about earlier, which is I still want this tone on her face. So I want to make sure that I get this color on her face. So I'm not really going to block it off yet, but pretty soon I will. But we're just going to go like this. And then we'll use the brush to really, the brush, the pouncer. We'll use the pouncer to spread it around. But you know, I'm one of those people that I actually don't leave the lips blank. I see a lot of people that they leave the lips blank, but I'm trying to build up color on those lips. A lot of times I'm not trying to build up a brown color, but I still want some type of pigment on the lips. But I see people leave those lips absolutely blank. All right, so, ooh, I belched. Sorry, y'all. Pardon me. We are going to now just kind of knock some of that color off. And we're going to use this little tool here to make sure that we don't have anything trapped in the crevices of her ears. Now that you guys know that I do this, if you see me not do it, especially when we do the brown colors, remind me. Like, Pepper, did you, don't forget to do around the ears and in those creases. All right. I feel very confident with moving on to phase 2 of painting little Miss Junie Rose. We have done 2 coats of paint on her. I'm gonna move this camera around a little bit. Can I make it bigger? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. All right, little Miss Junie Rose. I want to thank everybody for showing up. It's been an hour. Next time when we come on, I told Daniel possibly tomorrow. Sis, this is my sister talking to me. She said, let me get up and go. I thought she was going to be here. My sis coming into town. Oh, well, if she had come into town earlier, y'all could have, you know, she could have did the live with us. But let's say this. Let's say that be tuned. I'll put something in the community page. And I would like to come live again when my sister gets into town because she is bringing a little surprise. And so maybe we can handle the surprise on the live. And then by that time, you know, little Junie will be all set. Her paint will be dry enough to where I feel comfortable going in with her blue veining and shading and modeling. So, yeah, she will. She said, She's still in bed, y'all. All right, but I'll see you guys later. I'll put on a community post what time, and we'll try to do this today. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate y'all. Now I gotta figure out the hard part, which is how to turn off the live.